Okay, so, well, let's deal with North Africa here. The Italian army's munched. This fortification isn't going to help us much. How far back can we get them? Okay, we can get them to there. We can get... Let's see if we can move along the road a little. Oh man, I don't like this. Okay, what's our supply like out here? Yeah, well, let's back a little bit. Okay, I'll keep you in there. Reinforced to the max. Hello, unknown. Hi, Jaculius. Hey, Pino. Kangaroos are cool, yes. Hello. Grey Knight. Good to see you here. Yes, max that out. Bring up some Italian fighters to help deal with the Allied air. Oh, and mentioning that before I forget, I want to move these guys. Oh, right back there. We gotta do that too. Hey, Lancer. Good to have you here. Okay, and one thing I was doing before, just before you guys showing up, I was moving my submarines around, as you know I like to, and just happened to bump into two of these here. Oh, Kanga Force. I think that was something to do with one of the Australian units over here in New Guinea. So, well, we got a nice shot. Well, let's go with Kanga Force. Hit that. Not as maybe as well as I'd hoped, but hit that. Okay, so North Africa is looking iffy. Want to get that army sorted out. Got some mechanized, got some artillery, got some anti-air. Hopefully that will hold out well enough. Wanted that anti-air next to these other guys. But I didn't want to lose the army. Now over here. Is it time to try one last good weathered attack on Cyprus? I think so. Okay, well. Okay, you're unentrenching it, I gather, and messing with their structure, but... Hello, the new IKB. Good to have you here as well. Things are going well. Maybe not in Cyprus, but things are going well. Now, I think we're going to bombard with tactical bombers. Oh, good, good. Knocked it down by one. We'll start moving. No, 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 I don't like that movement. Let's move you up to here. Come on. Please give me damage. Ooh, good, 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 good. Now if we can get 2. Oh. 1. Okay. Damage us. Oh, so close. So close. This just isn't to be. No, didn't necessarily think they would do it, but had to try. I'm giving up on Cyprus. My paras just get to be stuck there. Oh, let's go for this mode. I really like Cyprus and the history of Cyprus, but that's... I messed that up. I just messed that up. Okay, we have also this Dieppe style raid that came in here. Let's see what we can do with that. Hey, Tony First Gen. Okay, thanks for that. We can definitely change the volume for sure. Let me just... And I don't hate to say it, I want audio feedback here for sure. Sorry, the screen's going to go black for just a moment here while I solve this, but I need to come into settings, audio. Sorry for the delay. Fog of War, blackout, yeah. Oh boy. Okay, I hope this is better and we should be back. How's that for the audio? Sorry for the delay there. Yes, thanks for following. Just switch my phone so I can carry on playing Black Ice Beta. Cool, IKB. Great. Yes. Okay. Always give me feedback, particularly on the sound, because I can't hear it. I can see what the screen is showing and that kind of thing, but I can't hear how you hear it. Okay. Back to trying to kill this again. Dieppe style raid. We want to have about the same outcome. Okay. Now, with all of this, oh yeah, we also have. See if we can sink these Canadians. Their coastal guns, and yeah, that's too far away. Okay. I think we're going to move the Russian Liberation Army back this way. March, countermarch, disorder, but I think we're seeing enough activity here that I want to be prepared for any real eventuality. For invasions and other possible mess ups here. Okay. Oh, subs, yeah. Ooh, good hit. Okay. Well, that didn't work out so great. Now they get to dive. We're always happy when our subs dive. Oh, we'll stay in the port. And while we're looking at the Navy, let's see if we can save him. Ooh, we can come to there, up the fjord. That sounds good, because I want to see if we can get you back to a better port that we can repair with. Okay, now to the Eastern Front. So, mud. We love mud, don't we? Yeah, not my favorite thing either. Let's see what we can move on here. Okay, use some rail guns. On Rostov. Let's look at our air power. Okay, it's fair. I don't know. Oh, looks like, ooh, ouch, but okay. But they can move in. We have Italian armored trains, which is really nice. So, yeah, you come and take Rostov. We want to, well, I don't know that we want to attack, but I want to get that. Okay, good hit. By doing hopefully this and swapping these two out, I can still reinforce these to the max so they didn't actually move, although they did. Ow. think I want to make sure I can pull these guys back. So we're going to come with that armor and hit there. Oh, damn. Well, we have one more good hit. Still curious, guys, how well this is going to... North Africa. Okay. Now, here... And one more. Good, shattered. Another core down. Now I'm going to move these guys just up to here to make sure we close the gap as needed. They can fall back. They're going to come right back. Let's max these out. Okay, so we sort of have something forming here of a front line. And we're going to max out this armor. Now, we're facing a situation down here. That doesn't look like a good attack. That could be... Let's swap these two out. In fact, I'd rather have the Romanian army holding the key point there. Okay. Yeah, defensive artillery, okay. Ooh, nice. Bada boom, bada bing, bada bam. Okay, now we have that core. We're taking out these Soviet core. Okay, interceptors, that's why we have escorts. Come up here. Ooh, that got them. We got a little nick. Hit them hard, good. Hey, Pixel. Yeah, let's instead of just let's make sure of success here. Shattered. Soviet core shattered. Good. You guys can move up too. I know you've already attacked. Okay, move the queues up. Keep the supplies flowing. Okay, good. So we've got Rostov. Very nice. I think we've saved our Caucasus Expeditionary Force. Mixed results, but we got some interesting stuff here. Let's see if we can take out a few more Soviet armies here. Thanks for following the channel. We really do appreciate it. Hello, Yuri Blue, Yuri Blau. Yeah, let's... come down here. Now we have some air power. I like focusing on that slightly weaker interceptors, but we've got escorts. Oh, good hit there. About as bad hit on us. Okay, not quite as impactful as I was hoping. Not more interceptors. Hey Arno, my friend. And again, thanks for the follow. Okay, well, now that we've got these guys down this low, and we didn't do as good as I'd hoped. Okay, now we're gonna do one more swap out and see if we can hit that. No. Damn, I was hoping to take down the army. You're the one that was just operating, so we're gonna have to wait to make sure that we reinforce you. Now, what can we do here? That would be good. Bring up the heavy armor. Smash. Smash. Soviet army gone. Now let's see if we can get a Soviet corps gone. Well, start with the artillery. Very good. Pixel, very good. I like that game. Looks like that could be a fun Scots-Irish campaign in Field of Glory 2. That could be cool. Yeah, okay. Rockets, rockets, rockets. And now a Soviet corps shattered. So Soviet army, Soviet corps up here. Fortunately, that didn't go down. I was hoping that would. Another corps there, a couple of corps down here. So that will be quite a thing. Need to see. Well, they can move a bit forward. Yeah, they moved. Okay, now let's go see China. Hey, Ambroso. Good to see you. You know what I think we want to do here is, let's prepare the paras to see if we can do a para drop here. Now, maybe a little risky, but I want to do this to cut off the supplies. I was noticing, because I was looking around prior to starting this, we might sort of be cutting off a lot of supplies by taking out this railway, cutting off supplies to these forces here. So we might sort of have these in a strange style pocket if we can do this. So I'm really liking that. Okay, well, they can get to there. They can come up to there. They'll get to there to help keep all of that in supply. Okay, so this Burma situation may be turning on the Brits. Hey, Newhauser. That's really cool, Lanzer. Pike and Shot looks to be a really good game. I haven't played it. I do want to play it. I love the time period. So, those are things that really would attract me to something like that, loving the time period and such. Not that I specifically know. Newhauser, any people from Slytherin around. I do know their social media director often watches, but I don't know if is able to watch live. Ooh, that's going to be, yeah. So, I'm, not sure Oh, that could be a... Okay, and can we take out the HQ? Very good. Okay, so we're pushing deeper into China. Lanchao is their new capital. So, we have a British armor unit here. We have Kunming capital and objective. Let's strategically bomb this. Why? Well, it's good to strategically bomb, hopefully destroy their supply and whatnot abilities. But also, hopefully they're going to send up interceptors, and my escorts will deal with them here and now. Okay, so they lose an MPP, fine. Now that we've done that, let's see if we can... Ouch, but yeah. Kill this armored core. Looks like we're going to be able to do that. Okay, well. Shattered. Very good, very good. They're shattered. Now we're going to again swap out these two units so that we can attack with this unit here. No, I guess we're not going to attack. Not good enough, but I want to, hopefully from here, max that out. Yeah, let's see if we can disrupt. Boom, down 4. Okay. That did them good. Ooh, shattered their air. Very good. Very good. And... ouch. Didn't do any good there. Oh well. We'll try to win the Culloden community made scenario for you. Very good, thank you. Thank you. I will definitely take a look at that when I can. Thanks so much, I do appreciate that. Okay, well. We're going to push on this, but I'm sort of kind of thinking once we can get some of the... we need to look at this here. Let's... Partisans. Okay, there is our main worry about that. Okay, you're going to come up to here. So I don't want to... Okay, well, let's move you to here. Well, you can only get to there. So I want to push up around through here. Light armor. Nothing. Ouch, actually not a good result, but oh well. Not easy to do. Playing that scenario from the Hanoverian side is easier, I bet. Now, the Hanoverians, in that battle, they were a modern army that had several shocks to it that then was retrained and had a superb firepower advantage by the time of the battle. And the ground, especially on the left flank of the Jacobites, was rather marshy, so they weren't able to charge, meaning they ran into a boggy area that you could maybe slog through it, but you weren't going to be charging through it, and firepower just wiped out the left flank attack. The right flank was able to hit, basically take out Barrel's regiment. The second rank of the Hanoverians poured fire into the Jacobites there, as well as Barrel's regiment, fired on friendly troops just to blast them, and were able to do it. So yeah, it's a hopeless situation, in my opinion, in a realistic way, the way that happened. Battle de Beyond Point, yeah, okay. Yeah. A lot of those battles, there's reasons why they happened the way they did historically. Okay, yeah, here. Boom. Boom. And a little boom back. And we're gonna swap these guys out for another hit on them, which is not doing much of anything. Okay. Good. Well, yeah, we need to wear on them. Very good. What is the supply like there? Or will be 2, 3. Okay. Nah, I'm gonna stay back. Hurting them, pushing them back. Caucasus, not yet ours. No. But we've just taken Rostov during this turn, so we are making progress again. We are turning things around very slowly. And yes, Pixel, victory conditions. You got to understand, what's a victory? What's a loss? Now, sometimes we can clearly see it with the enemy, as a formation destroyed and everybody fleeing in panic. Hey, that's a victory. But sometimes a victory is simply withdrawing your forces effectively from the battle. I mean, that can be a victory. And, so you have to sort of figure out what realistic conditions, what are your goals. I want to put these guys on ships, and we're going to move them over to here. Yeah, let's see what we can do here. Now that port is ours. Very good. I want to take Batavia. Maybe a bit weak. See if we can do this. Yes. Special. Okay. Oh, that was heavy casualties. Okay, well, heavy casualties, but at least we are ashore and have secured that. should be winnable in theory for the Jacobites if they get enough flank charges and close quickly and limit the frontage of the Hanoverian forces. Yes, I know a lot of people may be without seeing a good picture of this, so I don't want to go too deep. And I talked about last time when we sort of this, and I'm very grateful that Pixel has picked up an interest in this. After the night march on Narn, the Jacobite troops are exhausted, so they allow the Hanoverian forces to move up in column and spread out and form two lines. And I'm keeping this very simple from what I know, but set up in two lines and bring up their artillery. They basically are maybe battalion guns, maybe a little heavier, that are in between the battalions on the front. So it's not like any big grand battery, but spread out. And for a time, and there's some controversy over how long, but for a time, I'm sure it felt longer than it was, the Hanoverians are bombarding the Jacobites with artillery. And finally, eventually, there's command and control confusion within the Jacobites. Eventually they get permission and they charge. Had they and they knew that they watched the Hanoverians come up and form up on the open field. Had they moved with what they could move rapidly at the head of that column before it forms up into, two double lines, at some point, that could have been a very different outcome. Could have been. I'm not saying would have been, but could have been. By the time they get formed up, the stone walls sort of limit where the Jacobites can charge to. The Wolfe, the later British general who dies at Quebec, sets up, and I forget his unit, but the name of it, but sets them up in a sort of flanking position right on, with a stone wall right on the flank of the Hanoverians, so that once the Jacobites crash into Barrel's regiment, he's pouring musket fire into their flanks, a little better than the guys from the second rank of battalions firing up through their own. So yeah, if given time, the firepower will tell. Yeah, oh yeah. Well, the Jacobites had very, very poor artillery for the whole campaign. A few French professional gunners trying to get various clansmen and lowlanders and whatever to sort of man and function the guns, and ammunition problems, just gunpowder supply problems, and all that's going on throughout the campaign. Oh, they don't. Okay, canister is important to what, particularly after the charge starts. So yeah. Well, we can talk some other time about it. I'd love to go into detail. What I would have done by the time, the night march on Narn is a very good idea. Obviously it wasn't executed well, and I do think had they just pushed through and attacked piecemeal, they might still have won. The other thing would have been to abandon Inverness and move just on the far side of Inverness. There's some nice hill positions overlooking that area there, that if the government wants to control the Ness River and move up the up Loch Ness, or actually sort of south down it, but they'd have to take, and the Jacobites could have been in a nice uphill, good charge down type position that they could have easily done, and that would have been very much in favor of a standard sort of Jacobite kind of thing. So there's a lot of tactical maneuvering, and plus by retreating back that little bit further, you would have had more Jacobite units that were still streaming into the Inverness area from various other duties they had been doing, and were taking them days to be called there. So yeah, there's a lot of what ifs. There's a lot of popular support for the Jacobites. There's a lot of negative support for the Hanoverian monarchy. There's more of a support for, shall we say, the Protestant religion in England, and fear of the Catholics. That is more of a thing than support for Hanover over Jacobite. When it was William and Mary, and then later Queen Anne, all three of those people are Stuarts. Obviously, sort of the Hanoverians were too. That's why they got, they were descended from it. But with Mary and Anne, they were English, where George doesn't speak English. George II barely speaks English. George I doesn't speak English. George II barely speaks English. So they're not popular, as a royal family. So that is all weighing into what would have been, and the world would have been very different had the Jacobites won. I don't think there would have been an American Revolution, but that, because Parliament wouldn't have been how do I put this? No, that isn't a good move. Let's see, how far can we get? We can get you to... I sort of want to move you here. I'm thinking moving you out. Yeah, let's move you to the road there. Okay. Yeah, so... And where, although Bonnie Prince Charlie is born and raised in basically Rome, his whole court and all of his tutors and all of his people are, Scots, Irish, and English. So he's raised in and around them, and supposedly that, his accent, it isn't like some foreigner's accent to them. It's upper class English sort of accent. And that, so he wasn't coming off as being a foreigner, as it were. You guys have all operated. Yes, I thought so. Well, the Jacobites, by the time you get into the Jacobites, I see them, especially if you look at, they become more for toleration. You have, if you go jump earlier to Charles I, you have very much with Charles I trying to establish strong Church of England rule everywhere, where by the time you get to James II, and this is part of the reason why I don't think there would be an American Revolution, James II, one of his biggest supporters is William Penn, he who creates Pennsylvania in America under James II, as the ability for toleration in religion. And the Quakers in Britain, everywhere, but mostly in England, are huge Jacobite supporters. There's only one problem: they're pacifists, so they never come out for any of the Jacobite risings. But they are basically 100% behind the Stuart monarchy. So it's sort of like, yeah, great, we love you, we're staying at home and not, doing anything. So it gets into that. Okay, well, let's see. I have done most of the naval maneuvers we're going to do for this. I think we're marching, counter-marching. We've moved up. Any reinforcements we need to do that. I don't think we can. We move them back. Well, along here, any of these guys, yeah. Good. Okay, that's good. So let's look at, well, I want to rush reinforcements to this region a bit. So what can we do? One thing would be garrisons. I don't know if I bother with, well, what's the price? 60, 70. Air defense, that's going all the way to 80. I think just a couple of garrison units. We do have coming in May 15th here an army. For Germany, oh, in Italy we also, oh yes. Because of invasions, we're seeing more in the Mediterranean. I want to purchase a couple of garrison forces to hold Rome and things like that. And Japan, we've got lots of forces, but I think it may be better. Let's put these guys on long-range transport. So again, sort of expensive. Get them moved. See about landing down in here. Well, Charles had his faults. Most assuredly Charles I. But the idea that Parliament was a continuously sitting body was not really a thing then. It becomes it partially because of the parliamentary situation and ongoing. So dismissing Parliament isn't bad. I would say, you know, I'm totally with you on Charles making mistakes. One thing he was overly loyal to friends, and some of the friends weren't making the best decisions. So yeah, let's. How much is max? Ooh, 91. Okay. Bring up the fresh carrier. And so, yeah, I think I probably shouldn't go too much further in this. Sorry, let me, oh boy. Yes, night vision goggles, certainly. That would have changed things. Okay, and now that you're somewhat reinforced, you come... I think you're going to come down here to help us with this campaign. We may need that. Okay, well, we've spent a lot of our MPP. Now, down here, we haven't really looked here. See, we're doing pretty well here. Yeah, we want to do that. Let's see if we can move down to 1. They retreated back. Okay, what's the supply like here? 0 for now, yeah, 0. Okay, let's see if we can come in here. Attack, and then... Okay, hopefully I can get the hell out of there. Not become permanently stuck. Yes, stubborn, I would definitely grant that for Charles. Yeah, I'm not going to say Charles was some perfect, you know, anything. But I don't see him as a bad guy. I really don't see him as a bad guy. So you can disagree with me, of course, but And most of his, of course, I don't agree with trying to impose religion on other people and things like that. So, but that was the time, all sides were trying to, you can look at the 30 Years' War, religion was a cause for violence then, not defending it, just commenting on it. So I don't blame people for doing that. You don't blame people for living in the world in which they live in. So that's the world that they knew. Most of other Charles's mistakes were, like I say, supporting friends that either should have been gotten out of office, or once Parliament was trying to exile them because the king wasn't dealing with some of their corruption, because he didn't know about it. He just believed his friends were telling him the truth. That's my view of it. Had you gotten rid of them from office in timely, it would have been all right. By the time they're trying to exile them and whatnot, it's really coming to a head with that. Okay, well, I think for better or for worse, maybe for worse, we're going to end this turn. Soviet national morale falls with the loss of Rostov. Very good. And it looks like we're firmly holding that now. Yes, you're blockading Bordeaux. Allied raiders disrupt Norway convoy. Admiral Yamamoto is shot down by U.S. aircraft. Okay. Yeah, I knew that happened. Warsaw Ghetto Rising. I'm so glad they have this in here. I'm so glad. Thank you, developers, for putting this in here. It is important to remember this. Won't go into all the details on the Holocaust, but it is a factor. I very much like the what-ifs of history. I very much like, because we know how the Allies can win World War II, do what they did. I like the what if Germany did X, how would that have changed things? And not that I want to see them winning, but we have to remember. Well, probably the best, or probably the best Stuart monarch would have been Henry the Ninth. But he dies in a tennis accident. He's died, if I remember correctly, it's a tennis accident. It's a maybe it wasn't him, but he dies. So his younger brother Charles becomes the king. And so Prince Henry was really thought highly of by everyone, and he probably would have been better. Charles II, I think, was one of the most successful British monarchs. But once his younger brother takes over, James II, we start seeing problems. So I have a theory that I don't know that is true or correct, but is it something to do with younger brothers, and they're raised to support and be stubborn supporters of their older brothers? Because fortunately in the English monarchy we're not seeing family killing family off and that kind of thing like we do in other time periods and places. So that I have to wonder if it's not a Stuart thing, but a younger brother thing with Charles I and James II. Our air is sure really being active. Ooh, that's taking a lot of damage. I hope we're doing damage to that. Yeah, if it's him, it was one of them. But maybe it wasn't Henry. I don't know. It was one of the people. Tennis was played with a rather hard ball. They still have one of the tennis courts originally. It had wooden sides on it so that it kept the ball sort of like in a handball court. And the ball hit, if it was Henry or somebody, I may be confusing things, in the head. But it was somebody else, gave him a concussion. Yes, we will. We did, I think before you got here last turn. We're going to hit him again this turn. Sink the Canadians. Man, our air. Good thing I got the air over here. They really have wanting to kill out this can unit. Can. Whatever. Good, we have our air here. Oh, they weren't into wearing helmets. I understand the English now wear helmets when they ride horses. Which I think is silly. I don't know how I should comment on the hair. And they really got the air power moving. Okay, now in North Africa. Well, good, we have interceptors down there. And nope, they don't have escorts. How interesting. I have a friend in Britain, and he is, his sort of sideline is portraying Charles the First. He's going around to various historical locations of Charles the First, dressing up and really doing a really good level of depiction of Charles the First. Good, our defensive artillery is working out. Breaking up their attacks. Okay, they're going after my weakened Rostov garrison, and you're going to go after them, but fortunately we got defensive artillery. Okay, they retreat back. More defensive rockets. They're helpful. No, that was actually a good result for us. Okay. Now, are they going to attack with the Chinese? No. That's what cowboy hats are for, Pixel. They have a good, crush pattern that as you impact, they slow down the impact and do just fine. You don't need to wear a silly helmet. I grew up around horses, wouldn't even consider wearing a damn helmet. And I fell off of them, even as a young kid. Maybe that's why I am the way I am. Who knows? Yeah, see, helmets can break your neck. But I'm actually sort of serious that a proper cowboy hat will be a cushion if it stays on your head, of course, but properly sized one would. And as that hits the ground or something, that slows up the impact considerably. defensive artillery, good. Don't know how much that's going to affect armor, though. Well, they're still around. They got one more hit. Oop, ouch. These Italians aren't doing very well here. Okay, good. You hit me, but you haven't got maybe one more attack. Or did they already attack? I think they already did. But we're cutting their supplies. I think they may get some supplies coming in other ways, but I'm sort of thinking all these guys up here. Yep, knew the transports would go somewhere else. We've crushed so much of their armor. Oh, they're coming in around there. Well, we'll see about that. Oh, good. Italians did a good job. Hello, dear Panzer Penguin. Yes, it can vary from... Oh, very good, you dived. That's what you're supposed to do. From the theaters. I mean, I'll be quite honest with you. I really like the game, but I think the scale is in the how much, you know, the hex scale of the game does better in the War in Europe version. I haven't checked again, and I'm plugging. There's been at least one mod that they were working on to make the whole map, the whole world's map, in the scale of the War in Europe map. That allows a lot more tactical flexibility, and if you do that, it's fairly historical. Okay, bomb damage you can. Okay. 13, 10, 14, 8. Taking out enemy. Heavy cruiser there. Okay, battleship there. Our radio intercepts are telling us. And a Thailand core, which means we don't have to ship it there. Okay, well. Unfortunately, we're in the rain. We can't do any para landings. No, let me undo that just a second. Supply. Okay, they're gonna keep reasonable supply. That's fine. I want to keep cutting that off if we can. Now, yeah, I think we're just going to be on the defensive here. They can't move in. Yes, my bicycle helmet would save me. Well, yeah, well, I'm sure it does. Bicycle helmets are good. Anyway, I'm trying to avoid from going on another rant about rain. As airstrikes to plot today, yes. Okay, well, you guys come up to here, get out, and you can come up to there so that you can get one more closer. You guys can march up to there. So we're bringing up some heavy hitters to push in on the supplies there. let's push up the road here. Let's look at partisans. Okay, that's fine. Okay, they hit. Now we're going to swap those units out. And hopefully kill the special forces. There we go. There we go, that was good. So they're going to be struggling for supplies. China's being weakened. Swap you guys out. Get that. Get that. And can we? No. Ooh, good result. Oh, damn, they retreated. Okay, I know that may not be what most people would say when the enemy retreats, but yeah. This may be a little bit of a mistake, but I want to put pressure on them. He used to fuel his Imperial as a pith helmet. Ha! That's a good one. I like that. I like that. Yeah. Our Imperial ambitions know no bounds. Okay. Max? Just a 6. Well. Cancel. I may want to move that. How close can we get these guys? We can get these guys. Well, let's look at the supply. Yeah, I'm thinking about moving them up to there. Okay. Yeah. Now, how much rebuilding can we do with that? To 7. Okay, that's an acceptable amount. What's the supply like down here? Okay, 2, about as good as we are here, so we'll save them. We're going to be on the defensive. Okay. Defensive, defensive, defensive. Now back up to here where they've gotten... And hit there. Okay, they are still alive. And boom. You come in and reoccupy our territory. I think you guys can come up to here because we may be facing... Ooh, good hit, good hit. Maybe facing more problems from the Allies. We make it to port. Now we got to keep moving our subs to keep them from being found. Let's move you into there and hopefully you can survive there. Okay, now let's move you back to here. We had those transports. I don't know where they went to. No, we don't know where they went to. Okay, now. Let's see if we can commerce raid there. Alright, but historically speaking, World War II North Africa, from Morocco to Egypt, is where the majority of the fight. Yes, Ethiopia involved. Absolutely, dear Panzer. French and Mali, maybe a little bit. Now, we can look. Let's take a look. Fighting in Africa. You mentioned Ethiopia. Big situation. The Italians did take out British Somaliland. That was their only real success. That was primarily because the British were so weak there. And of course, the British won. Now, we, of course, have turned the tables mostly through strategic defensive campaign. Now, there was fighting in Madagascar. The British invaded. The Vichy French put up fairly stiff resistance. So, including the French had, I think maybe less than 10, but some of the light Renault tanks. So there was some real fighting there. You had, I know there was a Belgian unit that came out of somewhere in the Congo that made it all the way up through to the flank in here for part of the Ethiopia fighting. So they did that. Now we have Dakar. There was some minor fighting there, I think. But yeah, mostly it's North Africa. You know, the torch landings, the whole Tunisian campaign with Panzer Army Africa. This could really use a Panzer Army Africa event. How do I put this? This game has some limitations. And yeah, I knew the likelihood of a North African invasion. But you don't have, without events, don't have a lot of good responsive time. So I would have had an event that would have cost Germany a lot of money to form Panzer Army Africa, which is more than just the Africa Corps that forms earlier. So I would have had an event to cover that. I think I'd rather have these more here. Better supply. No, I'm not even trying there anymore. I'm just giving up my paras. I almost wish there was a good way to just destroy them so that we could rebuild them. Okay, what does our supply in the region look like? Okay, well, let's move these guys a little forward there. Now back. Yeah, this does take some time to learn. No, there's DAC, Deutsches Army Africa Corps, most assuredly. I'm talking about the later Panzer Army, Tunisia. And that's sort of where my thoughts come from, is because you have an event to form the DAC. Now it forms in Italy and you have to move it to North Africa. And that is very much a thing. But I'm talking about the bit later Panzer Army Africa. Yeah, I understand what you're talking about, Hedge. There was really very little coordination, but the game just, you either fully play one side or you play the other side. It's just basically how it goes. Yeah, we're on the defensive here again. Now, here we can go on the offensive. Let's look at the supply. Yeah, that looks like it'll be good. next turn I'm going to have to rebuild my air power. Yeah, Grey Knight, there is nothing more scheduled. What? Just out of curiosity, and it's not up to me, trust me, I'm... You know, we definitely talk on to what I would like to stream, most assuredly. But what would you like to see if we were going to do something more, Grey Knight, or anybody else? Yeah, no, I understand, Hedge. I do understand, and I understand where you're coming from with that, from a historical perspective. Battlestar Galactica, I like that game. Played it some. We can do a tutorial type stream, Panther Penguin. Multiplayer? Well, that could also be fun too, Pino. Quite honestly, well, here's the thing, and because I do make tutorial videos for some games. And it would be good to make them live to have the interaction so that you guys ask questions, because whether I or somebody else making it may presume that you understand something, and you may understand it, you may misunderstand it, or whatever, or just not get it. So asking questions is a really good thing. But I think ultimately the best place, I mean, make it live, that's a good idea, but the best place is ending them up, putting them on YouTube so they stay there persistently, so that they would be a tutorial that anybody can go in and watch whenever they, you know, want to find a new game, whether it's Strategic Command, Pike and Shot, Battlestar Galactica, whatever it is, so they can go in and get at least a basic tutorial on the game, and it would be there, and they could watch that. So now, I don't know what you guys think, but I actually think it would be a good idea for them to live stream on YouTube additionally, not instead of Twitch, but I think there would be another good audience there. Pike and Shot, okay, and Field of Glory. Yeah, I like the Battlestar Galactica game. I played it. I would like to play more, but my first love is the historical stuff. Growing up when I was young, it was the original Battlestar Galactica. I watched the hell out of it, and I'm still a big fan. So don't take it as, oh, Gamer doesn't want to play this. No, Gamer wants to play, just, you know, there's other things. So and more mainstream, yeah. And I do like to balance things out, because we have, you know, detailed war games, you know, War in the East. I've played that. Wouldn't say I'm terribly an expert at it at all. I played some. I want to play the big campaign and make a long series of that. That's an ambition of mine. It just, the time I've played out some of the scenarios. I would love to play War in the West or War in the Pacific. I just don't have those yet. But like I say, War in the East I've played. Have you done strategic? Yes, I've done that on my YouTube channel. If you guys want to, I also have a Twitch channel too. And on my Twitch channel, there's a link to my YouTube channel, allgamer_1745. I do have a series of playing the War in Europe version for Strategic Command. And I highly recommend that. And I recommend that if you want to focus on Europe, I recommend that more than I recommend this. This is, of course, better for the whole world. So it just, you know, you want the whole world, play this version. You want Europe, or Europe, you know, greater Europe, play the War in Europe version. Yeah, as I sort of just call it, Command. I know some people will enjoy watching it. I've watched some of it, but it is a very slow game and probably doesn't make the best quote-unquote TV out there. I've not actually played it. I've watched it. Just there's so many games to play, so much stuff to do. I know if I were to ask for it, they would give it to me. I just haven't asked for it because I wasn't ready to play it. Suited builder game would be nice. I don't know if they have one that I'm thinking. I'm not thinking of. Well, they have Empires, Field of Glory Empires. I would love to play that for this channel. So yeah, I would happily add a day or two or more streaming here on Twitch for them. Gamer_1745. It just basically my game, and you can just do a quick search on YouTube, find that, or as well as Twitch, find that and follow that. And on the Twitch page, there's a link to the YouTube channel. So I've got lots of videos there, a lot of Slytherin and Matrix games, as well as other companies as well too, of course. But okay, so we want to pound. They've got defensive artillery. No, I'm not in the beta. What I have played, and I didn't finish it in time, is the challenges. The first one, they're doing sort of a cut down version of the game. It was in the Paradox won it. Good, congratulations. It was how many turns it would take for Rome to take all of Italy, do it in the fewest turns. So it was just sort of the Italian portion of the map was activated, and it didn't have the ability to export the game for Field of Glory 2 and to play it in that way. It's just the more simplified versions of the battles. So I played that, but I'm not in the beta for that. He could be good at that. I don't know his schedule for times. Because like as you say, both in a watching, playing sense, takes a lot of time. Okay, so we've taken out another core. Boom. Boom. They can move to there, and they can move to here, so these guys can't move that far. Well, we're going to risk this. Again, yes, risk it again. Well, I think I'd rather fully take out the air power. We are breaking out into the Caucasus. Yay, 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 yay. That doesn't look like a good result. Okay, that worked out well enough. So, okay, I will keep what you're suggesting very much in mind. And so, like I say, I would happily step up on the level of Italians are going to be there mostly just to, this is just going to be a blocking force, just to force them to hold this. Okay, up here, swap them out. Boom. Boom. Didn't quite do it. I want to repair them. So let's risk the Slovaks and retreat and then reinforce. Yes, we're trying to get the sweet, sweet oil of Baku. Most assuredly. And here, just trying to think how best. Okay, we've got to reinforce this, max that out, max that out. Now that may limit my desire to use air power, but we can still hit very hard in a few places. Okay. Boom. Boom. Swap out. Boom. Boom, another Soviet corps gone. Hold it, hold it. Yeah, okay. Because, well, they can bring up a lot, yeah. We'll see about... Right, but now they are... Ouch. Another Soviet corps gone. I should have used the artillery there. But we'll see what we can do here. I haven't in a long time. I don't know that I played 4. The tactical, what is it? Art of War. Let me see, get a Coke here. Oh, I forget what version, but I played the hell out of it. Oh, back in the 90s, maybe? Something like that? Right, the operational Art of War. Thank you. Yeah, because it's at the operational level. So, could be, yeah. I forget which version of it, but I played a bunch of it back then. Really enjoyed that. That would be another good thing. I'm sure learning the new one wouldn't be overly difficult. And so, yeah, I would enjoy that. Pepsi? I like the sweeter Coke. Coke is a bit sweeter. Okay, okay, let's see if we can do this. Swap that out. Damn, that isn't looking very good, but we're gonna hit it anyways. Okay, they retreated, which wasn't what I wanted to have happen. But I did want to do this. Well, not as much as reinforcement as I was hoping. More hoping like that level of reinforcement. Very good to hear, Panzer Penguin. Yeah, no, that again, all you guys are like suggesting lovely things for me to do that I could just spend many hours doing. So, yeah, let's hit this one harder. Not quite taking it out, but I know it's probably won't. I know there was going to be escort or interceptors, though we don't have escorts. Ow! Oh, ouch! That wasn't worth it. Unless we totally kill this thing, we don't. That was not worth it. I should not have done that. Yeah, I can well imagine that. Okay, now we got to reinforce max. Yes. Reinforce max, yes. I'm going to have them right up at the front line. Yeah, that would be a good spot for them. Reinforce max, yes. Arctic Imperium, that would be cool. Rule the Arctic penguins. They've already moved. Okay. And I will say a little bit, you lose track of just what have you done here, because this is a big, we're gonna risk it. Yep, made it to the port. Good. A lot of stuff to deal with, and I like this. I will at times forget to move a unit or something. Okay, I think we've done that. Naval focus. Let's look down here, see what we can do here. Okay, take here, take here. Okay, so we've got all of that. These guys can come to here. Let's start pounding on them. We want to get Batavia. We're just going to pound. Well, that opens up Serbia. And they're under rain, so I can't even move the carriers to do. And they're in rain. We can move the carrier up. Bit protective area here. Let's. Yeah, we have the points, I presume. Yeah. Some penguins live in jungles. Okay, I didn't know quite that they lived in jungles. I knew there were there were like penguins in South America here, but this isn't jungle. I mean, this is jungle up here. This is, you know, Tierra del Fuego is not jungle. Well, rainforest, okay. Well, rainforest. Well, what's a rainforest? There's lovely, lovely rainforests in Scotland. They're not they're not hot. There's some lovely rainforest. Oh, well, we have to jump to this side of the map. Rainforests like up in Oregon and Washington State coastally. And they're not jungle either, but they're rainforests. They're not tropical rainforests, but they're rainforests. So, yeah, South Africa, yeah, that's another place. I think of penguins as a southern hemisphere bird. Well, let's move to here. We'll risk that. I know we're trying to move to a port to repair somewhere with you, and I probably forgot you last time. Like I say, there are downsides with trying to manage. Right, South Africa is well out of the tropics. Tropics is a technical term for part of the how you're dividing up between north and south elements of dividing up the globe. Not all areas in the tropics are quote-unquote tropical in nature. You get to high enough altitudes, obviously, like in South America here, where's the equator? Somewhere through here. You know, some of these areas, you know, they're, you know, very high mountains, so that it's not tropical, but it is in the tropics. No pith helmets. Yeah, well, you can wear a pith helmet wherever you like. is puffing along. As in puffer penguin. Is that where that is supposed to be? Now let's look at some diplomacy. I probably should have done it last turn, but we spent a lot. We're going to try to push Finland more into the war on our side. Should we push more into Turkey or Vichy France? Got any suggestions? Watch out for the Akak. Okay, the Akak. Right. Yes, North Wales. I can imagine that as being considered rainforest as well. Yes, push Turkey. Okay, well, they're already at 53. Yeah, I think we can afford that. Maybe not, but let's try it. Oh, no, not two, just one. Yes, we already have one in Turkey, so we're going to just leave the one in Turkey. That's still already being pushed. Can we? Yes, right where you're at. Well, cancel. Let's move you to a better supply spot. And then we'll see about that. I know the front's open, but I don't think they're going to get very far. Very deep. Let's move you to the front. Get the armor back to the rear to better protect it. So when we want to go, are you allowed to the neutrals? Yes, you can. Absolutely. Just you should be prepared. Yeah, no, I got it. The joke. Maybe because I'm not expecting anything better than lame jokes from myself. So, yeah. Okay, we may think about next turn. Well, no, we just want to push pressure here. We want to push pressure down here. Okay, well, we can move you to there. Let's... yeah, there. I think we'll get you there. That'd be okay. Oh, good, yes. Didn't want to forget that. Max that out. I'm not sure where I want to use the railway artillery. Okay, now, I think for building Japan production. Okay, we got 2 carriers coming. I still want to say, I don't know. Oh, we have to move, before I forget, boy. Okay, would have forgotten. Any casualties? Oh, and we're bumping into the Marines. Okay, well, why do I now have visions of Cyprus again? Okay, long range. Okay, well, should coordinate that better. But we're going to move our carriers down this way to the Guadalcanal front. Get some destroyers to help deal with any submarines. may be lurking. So we have both of these. I wanted to see about getting some air power into the theater. See if we can bombard it. We can see about repairing you as well. Use you as basically a scouting mission. Yeah, I think I'd rather come up around this way. Let's try to, instead of just keeping our fleet sitting there, yeah, supporting, ready to do something maybe, but not really doing anything. I know we have these guys over there. Yeah, I think we're, like I said earlier, defensive arrangements. We've done most of that. More rainy weather, fun for gamer. Yeah. I'm staying away from my raining rants. My rain rants. Still think I'm correct in them, but okay. These have been rebuilt. Good. And we have destroyer escort. Let's load you up. Trying to think. Rupal is still held by the enemy. No, it's Axis occupied. Okay, so no, we've got Rupal. That's right. Okay, Bougainville is still. So what we need to do, I think, because the longer the and I don't know, but the longer they're at sea, the invasion force, the weaker they get. So we're just going to move that as a sort of traditional transport situation right there, and then put them ashore at a port, and then put them right there. Ships. Yeah, under reports here. Losses. Maybe not. Okay, detailed losses. So yes. Okay, so we can look here. Quite honestly, I don't normally personally care about this. I know people do care. You can see what we've lost as Germany. These tank units that we lost, that's my fault. I lost most of those to attrition, as well as the mechanized forces are mine. I'm crediting them as bad leadership, and not the Italian. I think wasn't really my fault. I think just good attacks from the enemy. So yeah, you can get in and look at that. Obviously, you probably really don't care about the details of my campaign, but you can see we've done a lot of heavy losses here for the Soviet Union, for China. We've been sort of pushing on them. So they do have some levels of reports and graphs. Yeah. Well, I'm a little too adventurous. My gaming history, which is important to know when you're watching somebody, goes all the way back to a game called Third Reich, an Avalon Hill game. And so and especially when I see this with these counters and this setup, I still think Third Reich. And I think this game does, I would presume, take some inspiration from that and other games similar to it. And encirclements with armor was very much a thing. And there were supply considerations, but what I found with this game is, and some of it was mud and some of it was snow elements, but I would try to do encirclements, push too deep, and I've learned my lesson to hit the S button to see current supply for your side. Obviously, we're supplying 0 out here. And then hit it again, you get what it would be next turn. So if you drop paras or you pushed in with your tanks, and so I wasn't paying attention to that. So and some of it was counter attacks and other things, but I really wanted to do that. And so it's my sort of fault with some of those units. Not anything but that. Okay, we're trying to move you. Yeah, okay, we got that. Did we? Oh, no. We got to. What's the quality? Okay, we could do. Yeah, but not a 3, of course. We've got to max that to 10. Max that to 10. And can these guys advanced fighters too? Yeah, we'll do that. They're just good enough strength that they may be able to survive, and be better advanced fighters would be helpful. So we're looking at that. So I'm thinking I'm getting ready to hit the next turn button. Yeah. Do any of you guys know or think something I'm forgetting? Now's the time to speak up. Oh, the Italian front down here in Ethiopia. Yes, I almost forgot that. Okay, well, that's sort of cutting off some more supplies. Yeah. Okay, there we need to look at supply. Where we move to, because they're currently in 0 supply. Okay, so up here to 2, keep them supplied. Again, just a little nervous. Okay, 2, not great, but no, I want to use it on if you're talking to the Italian, I want to see how well, because my German armored train here as well, they're both, the German one has been a very good defensive unit. I want to see how well the Italian does if they attack it. But, yeah, no, that's done on purpose. Get to headquarters, very good. Need to get some Italian units down there too, but North Africa is a more critical front right now. Well, last turn they had no escort, so maybe they have no air power to intercept this. So we're going to try using naval bombers. Oh, no, they do have interceptors now. Okay, maybe they were just... Okay. Didn't work out as well as I hoped. Okay, strategic, tactical, and interceptors, an American HQ and a garrison, as well as the army and the tank corps. So you can see now what we're facing here. Battleships are all beat to hell. No, they will sort of reinforce. Hello, Ari. Good to see you. Glad you're here. So no, they can be damaged. They will sort of repair, but there's no building of that. Yeah, no. So yeah, and there was some railway building, most assuredly, during the war. I think this was significantly improved, built new. I know they built a pipeline for, I think, both fuel and water across the desert up to, I don't know, as far as Mersa Maruth or wherever, at least Al Alamein. They were doing some of that. But there wasn't a whole lot. Obviously, there's the famous Burma Road, which is here, that they built. But large infrastructure projects, I can't think of many in the time frame of the war. Love to hear your thoughts if you know of something that they did. So roads, yeah, that would be a doable thing. Okay. So I think I'm back to ending the turn again after doing some fortunately useful. Ah, yeah, now there you are, Der Panzer. The Japanese did significantly build some railways. They were trying to, you're absolutely right, they were trying to connect Singapore basically more or less up to their pre-existing railway network to Busan. So a lot of it was already pre-existing. It was mostly down in here, I think they were trying to build new. So they did have that. But I guess that's sort of here on the map already, coming through that they put there. But you're absolutely right. I wasn't thinking about that. Famous movie, of course, Bridge on the River Kwai. Very good movie. Some historical problems, of course, with it, but a very good movie covering the subject. Mostly, one of the biggest historical problems is that they didn't build big bamboo type bridges. They were mostly concrete and steel bridges they were building over rivers. But yeah, and some of them still exist and are still used to this day, I think. Called it the Burma Railway. Okay, I haven't heard that term. Now, the Japanese did, come up through Thailand and, just like it's sort of showing its map, use the pre-existing French railway system in Indochina, and I'm not sure if there was a pre-existing Indochina to China connection. Very well could have been, but I know this is very mountainous terrain. But if it hadn't pre-existed, the Japanese definitely added it to the connection. Now, and this was mainly set up for the Japanese to take oil from down here in Borneo via ship to here and then in tanker cars up there, but it was only just a trickle of what was needed. It was so bad that some of the oil out here was coming out in very good quality that the steam engines on the big Japanese ships, the battleships and such, could actually burn it straight from out of the ground, because they were oil burning steam engines, at least most of them, the bigger engines. I don't know if the smaller ones, but the larger ones, so they could use that. So they actually moved a lot of their fleet, some of the, particularly with their bigger battleships down here, to be near their supply of fuel. And so they were sort of put out of the war because they were needed, in some of this other possible fleet actions, sort of sidelined by this for a while, putting them down here. The Japanese, I've read a book called Japanese Destroyer Captain, written by a Japanese destroyer captain after the war. He's very critical of a lot of the strategic decisions of the Japanese. Praises them very highly as for their, skill and determination, but some of the strategic decisions. But they had significant fuel problems from well before the start of the war. And so there's a lot, they talk about a lot of the Japanese heavy fleet was sitting at Truk much of the war. And so it wasn't used because Japan was always looking for that decisive battle. They wanted to have that big decisive battle, sink the American fleet, and then go on and do other things. Well, they never really got it. They wanted it, but they never really got it. Partially because you're setting up with carriers and other things. But so you end up having these, hugely expensive battleships to build and man, because they took lots of manpower, and to fuel, sitting and doing nothing when they could have been operating as, whether firing, artillery pieces, onto the land, or just simply escorting invasion forces, or like blocking enemy resupply into Guadalcanal, or other, actions. Now, see, again, you have to look at and understand the Japanese priority. The Japanese Navy, as again goes back to the Mahanian Navy, can't stress that too much, Alfred Thayer Mahan. They want that big decisive battle. That's what they're always looking for, to win the war. So they don't highly prize smaller engagements in support of, say, a Guadalcanal type operation. And so they don't want to risk, they don't want to use up and they're also very, very concerned about ammunition production and ammunition supply, not just on their big guns, but on all their guns. They're really running this on a very limited budget of capabilities. So they don't want to risk it, they don't want to use up the supply of fuel and ammunition. So when you could have had a situation where you could come in and overwhelm on a non-decisive, big sea battle and use these really good assets, they were just too afraid to lose them, too afraid to use them up, so they didn't. And so they lost things like Guadalcanal waiting for it. And so it really sort of got that they, hangar queens that you call some, aircraft that are hardly ever flown or something. They were just mostly sitting in Truk Harbor for a long, long time. Some of the major battleships and other things. And then eventually it's just harder and harder to supply them, so they move them over here. So you always have to really keep that in mind when you're talking about railway from Burma. Oh, okay, yes. IKB is one to know about a lot of that stuff as well. So you have to keep that in mind when you're looking at real history and Japan, and some of the critical things. We are moving Turkey, we are moving Finland a little bit. We're hopefully get some of that stuff done. The Railway of Death. Okay, thanks for the link, IKB. Okay, God Samurai. I will look that up. I recently done a bunch of reading, trying to the Japanese perspective of World War II and the Pacific, as well as just the general Pacific War, the U.S. perspective out there. I will try to look for the God Samurai. Yes, absolutely, Der Panzer. That is exactly what I'm talking about. It's a wonderful piece of war machinery that, for like all the various reasons I was talking about, was not used. Okay, we're going to end the turn. We get to watch and see how this goes. Yes, okay, we're blocking Dar es Salaam. Good. Trying to cut these guys off from supply. Disrupting by Norway. Okay, we're still at least getting 18. MPP. Should have zoomed in a little better before starting this. Okay, there we go. could you get across that lake? That didn't seem kosher to me. Okay, Italian submarine, dive. Oh, I forgot to... Oh, goddamn. Forgot to reinforce them. Oh, my mistake again. Ouch. Ouch. Okay, that wasn't the best move to leave them there, especially after I moved the air group. Okay, interceptors, yeah, you're doing your job. Escorts, of course. Well, these are the guys that I upgraded to advanced level 2 fighters. Now, if they survive, we will be reinforcing them. Six more MPP. Okay. Interceptors. Nice. We need to get some more of that air over here. And there goes the garrison unit. Of course, I'm worried about, do they have an invasion force ready to land? Whether because of the game or my mistakes, this is turning out fairly historical. Good job. You guys are doing your right job, yeah. Good. Dive, dive, dive. Oh, damn. Well, we made a mistake there. Should have reinforced them instead of upgrading them. Thanks, Ari. Yes. Got mid-ons. They don't like my Italians, or just they think they're weak. Well, we retreated. That was... oh, there goes my Italian army. Of course, we knew better. We saw what happened out to the same army out at Stalingrad. Yes, you can. They do have some AA. They're not as quite the regional AA that a proper AA unit is, but they do have some anti-air capability. That was painful as well. Ouch. Okay, I shouldn't have moved that up there. Ouch. I'm always wanting to be aggressive, and that's not necessarily the best thing in this game. Yeah, I might have to fall back there if I still have surviving unit. Nope. Don't need to fall back there. Ouch. Okay. Yeah, now these armored trains are good. That's a good bit there. Oh. Well, an AA unit will protect itself and one hex around it. So having a few of those out on the Western Front would probably be a good idea. Help deal with the bombing of the strategic bombing, as well as going after, protecting the ground units. Please remember, this is a series of how not to play Strategic Command World War II War in Europe. How not to do it. Don't do what I've done. See, it's this unit here is one of those. And so things attacking just next to it will get AA. I've wanted to get it up next to the mech to better protect it, but from air attacks, because that really weakened it. And here we go. Perez, it looks like a landing in Cherbourg. They've taken out my garrison forces. They're going after my one corps in the area. They decided to land there in Caen. They've landed there. Saint-Malo. Oh, hell. They're landing in Saint-Malo. They're still attacking there. They're going to... Yeah, okay. Oh, they're outside of Paris. Their Paris attack has been weakened. They've landed south of Brest. They are overrunning here in the east. They're going after... They've just eliminated my air. They've now linked up to that force there, fighting my heavy guns. Coming ashore there, moving, hitting, going after my Nantes garrison. Got some mechanized forces ashore. Yeah, they keep hitting there. We're landing an infantry corps and hitting it from that side. Another one hitting there, weakening that. They're pushing in, landing in Caen. force is barely holding on out there in the desert. And this is doing okay. Wish I had the Paris ability to jump. Only a fool learns from his own mistakes. A wise man learns from others' mistakes. Yes, learn from my mistakes. Yeah, I think it is possible to defeat the US, but you have to know what you're doing. You have to be able to plunge in deep and defeat the Soviet Union fairly quickly. You probably need to have taken the Mediterranean, or taken Britain. Well, obviously before going up to the US. Okay, just to give you a little background. When the very nice people at Slytherin contacted me and said, "Hey, do you want to stream on our channel?" And I was like, "Yes." You know, well, what would you want to play? You know, what would you want to play? Again, they do ask me, you know, because they're smart enough to know that, hey, get somebody, you know, have play something that somebody either, you know, likes. They don't want you playing something you don't like. And, you know, and I said I had a strategic command game already going. How about a Barbarossa start for it? Because so many games, and you can go back and see the earlier episodes if you want to see from the starting of it. So many things, they start out with the beginning of the game. So you've all watched, you know, the beginning of Strategic Command, whether, you know, so boosted by news of Allied lands against France. Whether it's the War in Europe version, Danish workers strike against German occupation. Okay. The War in Europe version or the World at War version, either version. You've probably already seen the start of the war a few times. So I thought, yeah, let's do Barbarossa. So I rushed playing through to just be able to start a Barbarossa. So I wasn't really prepared. I had planned for my campaign to do what I think Germany should have done, which is secure the Mediterranean along with Italy. You know, Germany and Italy secure the Mediterranean. Zoot Suit riots break out in Los Angeles. Cool. Now, I would say that's sort of a bad picture of it, but yeah, cool. There was a bunch of riots there, that Zoot Suits, which were mainly Hispanic youth, not entirely, but mainly Hispanic youth, rioting against the military, you know, off-duty soldiers and things. Okay. Massive amounts of destruction of our forces. Massive amounts of problems, though we have been doing some decent submarine warfare. Okay, well, some of this is showing up, maybe not in time, but is showing up. Okay, well, Italian garrisons, very good. Rome, and let's put that there. Not sure when we'll be doing the Winter War, Ari, or the Order of Battle. That I like that. We very well might pick that up after this. Okay, well, we've gone a little over time, but I wanted to fully get in the Allied turn, and it was exciting. I will ask, do you want to see me continue this? Because I don't know that we're going to hold. I mean, because we have an armor unit. Fortunately, we've been moving these guys. We have a mech unit, which haven't been as strong as I would like. So should we play this? I'm going to save it right now before I do anything more. Next week. So Right at the back, if we can, try to break the allies. Well, we can certainly try, Ari. I don't know what with. Okay, that's fine. Well, I'm willing to fight it down. If you guys want to watch it, I'm willing to fight it down. Yeah. Okay, well, like I say, we're a bit over time. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Thanks for liking, you know, the videos. It really does help. Remember to follow the channel so you guys, there is, I don't think, any more scheduled this week. But next week we will be back, I presume, not sure, but probably with continuing this. So again, thank you so much. I really love hanging out with all of you.